There it is. Now you can see what I'm talking about. So this phone has the world's first under-display selfie camera. If we weren't in the middle of a global pandemic, I would love to do a video going out to people on the street and handing them this phone and saying, you notice anything different about this screen? Because I just feel like almost no one would actually pick up on it, because if you're not looking for it, it's almost invisible. But the second you notice it, you can't unnotice it. But we all knew this was coming. We've seen multiple parts of smartphones work towards this perfect all-screen phone thing for a while now. We saw the fingerprint reader go from the button to underneath the display. We even saw speakers on some phones go from above the display to right behind it, vibrating through the glass. So the last thing left, which is also the hardest thing, has been
Dixon always just slaughter.
and cutouts and hole punches in almost every new smartphone display these days. Somewhere around the top, either in the middle or the corner, that's just a cutout, a hole in the screen you're going to have with a selfie camera. And there were other methods, like pop-up cameras of different sizes and shapes, and while they technically did help achieve the goal of the seamless front display thing, and I happen to really like them for the security benefit of blocking the selfie camera when it's not in use, it was a loss in pretty much every other category to the manufacturer. It's a moving part in a phone, which introduces higher probability of failure point. It's worse and more difficult for waterproofing. It costs more. It takes up more space in the phone. So I liked them, but they've been kind of a workaround the whole time. So this was the inevitable thing, the new technology that would allow us to put the camera behind the display. And now that I've actually used it and looked at it, I can see why no one else has shipped it yet. So first of all, it's not a super high-end display. It's a nice screen, but it's not super bright. It's a 6.9-inch pretty big OLED at 1080p and 90 hertz. Fine, it's a $400 to $500 phone. But right up there at the top, you can see there's something a little different going on. And when you really look for it, well, it's really obvious. So let's get technical for a second to explain what's actually happening here. There are a few things necessary to make this happen. You have the 32 megapixel camera itself, back there inside the phone. Then you have basically a notch cutout in the display, but the display itself continues over this notch in essentially half the pixel density, so 720p equivalent resolution, with smaller pixels, so there's actually space between the pixels for the camera to see.
Dog.
No tienes trampa.
Oye.
What be from the episode? Yeah, look at this stuff. Yeah. Me não dê não. Me não dê não, me quis.
Yeah, but you can't stay comment there. It's cool. Ah, been a fucking dog leader right now. Look up. What do I gotta say? What do I gotta say? Aí minha amiga,
Yeah. Welcome to that shit, guys. Good luck, just another bucket.